Charles, what's happening, man?
Happy Friday, brother.
It is indeed, but it is D week. I mean, D week, and we have kind of reversed roles today. So I'm in the office today, and you're not.
Yeah.
So we kind of flip flop today. But a lot to talk about. But I wanted to talk about the title today. Is it chaos? Was kind of the name of the show. Is it change or chaos? When we look at all this going on, particularly as we dive into JSU Homecoming, the difference this week versus the last time we truly had a homecoming in 2019, the race to prevent the government shutdown, and a couple other things we'll dive into. So let's just start with the week, the I love homecoming week, Jackson, Mississippi. Talk to me about what's different about this week. And you've seen a lot of homecoming weeks. So tell me what's different about this one.
I think you have a combination of things. It's been a long time since we put a good product on the field. And so that first and foremost is putting people in the stands. I look for a big crowd on tomorrow. Second thing is with COVID, I don't know about other people's homecomings. We make running jokes about who has the best homecoming and whatnot. But I think all of these schools are experiencing more participation in homecoming activities because everybody was shut in the house for COVID. So, that type of energy. And then, Jackson State is just different. I mean, we do homecoming on a whole different scale compared to other places. I mean,
We do. We've always done that. That's not new. We've always done it differently and more robust. And one thing I'll say about when you come, even though there are other colleges in Jackson and the surrounding areas, when it's Jackson State homecoming, everybody knows
yes.
everybody is embraced in it. So let me, for me, this week I flew into New Orleans and drove up, and obviously detoured and went through Columbia and saw my parents and some things of that nature. And when I tell you how many DI love that were flying into New Orleans and driving up that I saw that stopped me, because when I travel, I easily have on my hat, I have on something Jackson State. And I can't tell you how many times I got stopped, man, just in the airport of people going to homecoming. I met a young lady who was, well, I shouldn't say young lady because she's not, but she was proud to tell me she was in the class of 1981, and this was the first homecoming she had been back to in over 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of that because when your football team sucks, people don't come home like that. You have your diehard fans, and don't get me wrong now, Jackson State homecoming is big whether we winning or losing. But
Right.
when you are winning and you have a new spirit and a new energy in the football program, uh, that takes it to a whole other level.
Yeah, I think so because I was teasing our intern as I looked around. I knew I wouldn't see her this week.
No, she needs to experience it because one of the things I told her was, she's a COVID baby. She spent her whole, most of her college career has been spent in Zoom class.
Oh wow.
So, that energy and participation from those kids is going to be gigantic because this is their first, even though they're now sophomores and juniors, and some of them seniors because they took a lot of classes while they were shut in the house. Uh, you know, this is their first time to really see the yard in all its glory. Got old heads who've been here since Monday. you know,
Man,
you got you got
really?
infused with new blood from all the COVID kids who are Zoom class, participants. So this is their first true taste of Jackson State. So they get to see uh, Jackson Fair, Jackson Deere.
Man, listen. Well, man, we appreciate you just jumping in, saying hello, and we wish you could stay with us too. Look, I mean, there's an excitement. I mean, look, I'm always excited for homecoming, but there's different this year. There's an excitement, but there's also an expectation.
Yeah.
There's an expectation that hasn't been there in recent years,
Well,
particularly around the football team, but even bigger. I mean, around all sports, there's an expectation to win and dominate in everything right now,
well,
academically,
here's the thing.
athletically.
Here's the thing, Liz, and you know this, because you could go all the way back to our parents' generation. Jackson State is not new to winning.
Right.
And so there has always been the thing that separates us from other HBCUs is we have an expectation of winning. And not only do we have an expectation, we have a high floor. We have 4 NFL Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
I remember.
PWIs that don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And we're not talking, and I think sometimes people get confused when we say that. They say, oh, you got 4 people went to NFL. No, that's not what I said.
No,
We-
no, we're talking about gold jackets,
right. We
immortality.
right. The highest level of the sport, Hall of Fame. And I just think that I was watching, I got the sports patches, I was watching the soccer team play. And there's an expectation to win. I mean, it's different. The energy is spread across all athletics, and I've said it before. Athletics is truly, and people sometimes get upset with me when I say athletics is the front door to most universities. Unless you're in the Ivy League, athletics is the front door to your university. It's the biggest marketing uh, billboard you can have. It drives the energy of the school. And how do you highlight the academic programs in the midst of why you're showcasing the athletic programs? Because that's got everybody tuned in. So that's why TV is so important. And I think also because we've had more exposure on TV recently, there's more people that have seen the product of Jackson State. And I think now Jackson State, and not only Jackson State, but all SWAC is beginning to explode beyond the family. And that's what I'm excited about.
Oh yeah. I mean, and again, I'll say we've always had an expectation of excellence. That's what Jackson State is all about. So winning in other programs, that's commonplace. I mean, you think about how many SWAC championships we have university wide.
Right.
You think about how many SWAC championships we had just last year in a
Yeah,
COVID year.
that's true.
I mean, that's you have an expectation of excellence. You had just last week you had the SWAC East volleyball cluster on campus. You had, SWAC soccer on campus. You have, then you had football giving us essentially 2 weeks of homecoming. So that beating that they put on Alabama A&M
Woo!
brought even more energy and eyes to the product. But here's a question for you.
Okay.
And this is where I think there's a crossroads of change and new blood.
Okay.
We had the investiture of our new president, uh, Thomas Hudson.
Right.
You have Coach Reed in women's basketball who will be playing for a three-peat.
Yeah.
You have the baseball team who will be defending SWAC champs. And now
Undefeated
you
in the
have
SWAC. Undefeated in the SWAC in the spring.
undefeated in the SWAC. And then you have Jackson State University football, the Blue Bengals, under new leadership, a Hall of Famer, no less. So, tell me about how that expectation and intersection of just excellence all around. And that's not counting the side of academics. I mean, we've always been strong in academics, but what we're getting from athletics is more looks on television that will bring in engineers and computer scientists and business majors and political science majors, English majors, because they get a chance to experience the brand.
So let me tackle that in three ways. All right. So I want to look at it internally inside of JSU, and then inside the family, meaning alumni included that, and then external. So when you look at inside the family, inside JSU, internal to JSU, the excitement among the students is unmatched. Because when you got to remember this, for these students that's in school now, this is their first ever winning football season. I mean, they haven't experienced the anticipation or expectation of winning before. We had that, they have not. So there's an added level of excitement there. There's a swagger and there's a new style with the football team. They're multifaceted. They look good, yes, because you don't know what they're gonna wear, right? It's the flash, but also, and then it's the execution of how they play. Truly the return of that dark side, that nasty defense that make you want to just cringe. Ask Mr. Glass about it. That old school Darren Connor, Jackie's that type of linebacker crew, that's back. And so when you look at that and look what that carries into the momentum of student life and the excitement there, it's just high energy on campus, right? So much high energy that kids are looking like, man, I want to go there. Then let's step it into the alumni. And here's where I see it most with alumni. Alumni said never given back before are now giving to National Giving Day. Giving. I have given more this year than I probably given in previous years. Absolutely, because number one, they hit me up every time I turn around. And number two, there's an expectation that you support your university. That expectation is heightened now. We've always had it, but it's at another level because when you start seeing community partners coming and giving resources to your school, you want to join in that too. And so for me, that's refreshing because you see that renewed excitement about alumni to not only give, but to get out and support and be at the game and to be vocal and to really work with the team. So I think you got the true Blue Bingo Nation back together on the same bus, going to the same destination, and that is a scary thing.
Yeah, and then too, I would say give a shout out to the alumni association because even in the midst of down times, our alumni chapters across the country have done an excellent job of recruiting students and sending them to Jackson State because they have relationship building in the community and they get a chance to experience those alumni and have a yearning to come down and go to Jackson State. So imagine the fruits of that paying off now when you can say, well, look at the winning culture in the classroom and on the field. It's back to where it should be and going higher.
True. What are you seeing? You're also a professor on campus, you teach classes there. What are you seeing internally?
Well, these kids are a little different. They don't really talk about it like we did. But I know they're engaged. They're watching. Because you got to remember now, our social media was on the plaza. They can pick up their phone and know everything that's going on and get, kind of looped in. So it's a little different. So they do a lot of their talking inside of those chat rooms and social media or what have you. But I know they're engaged.
You know what? That's interesting. You brought that up. That's true. I never thought about it that way. I mean, you had to go in our days. You had to go to the plaza to
Yeah, that
be
was your
in
that
the
was
loop.
your social media was was being out there. Um, you
That's
know,
true. You're right about that. I hadn't thought about it. I mean, you because if you didn't go, or somebody had to call you and tell you, "Man, get here."
yeah,
It
but what
was
did they call you on? They had to call you on a room phone. You didn't have
That's
a cell
true.
phone.
That's true.
And if you weren't in your room, then you missed that call.
That's true. You're right. It's totally different. I didn't think about that aspect. So I know, I think from a support and community wise, I've seen something different around Jackson. I mean, I went to the airport today to take care of some business. Everybody got on Jackson State stuff. I mean, even the workers. I mean, look, I done been to many homecomings. I've been to enough homecomings to know that's not normal.
Well,
It-
I would say it's heightened, but that's always been the case. You can't hide tiger pride.
yeah, but not like it is this. I mean, what I'm saying, we got new tigers, like tigers that traditionally wouldn't have been tigers, but now the brand has been exposed to them because our family has enlarged through the pandemic. You got new tigers in that family, and they are
Yeah,
proud to wear it.
yeah, but I think you discounting because you lived through the Bell era. You lived through the down years. If you
That is true.
remember, if you
That is true.
remember in '89 when we came to the Southern game, that stadium couldn't hold one more person.
That's true.
In 90, 91, 92, 93, 94,
That's true.
heck, in 95, was that McNair's
Yes.
last game in the vet?
Yes.
They had attendance listed at like 53,000, but it probably was more like 66,000 people in there.
Right. You know, I don't know. What do you think the attendance will be tomorrow?
I look for it to be close to 50,
Yeah. Yeah.
depending. Because I saw Alabama State has a pretty good contingent here. I just passed pretty good contingent from Alabama State. They rolling in from Montgomery. They must be smelling the upset.
Well, that's surprising me because they normally don't bring anybody.
Now that's the Prime effect. Everybody wants to come and see Prime.
Well, and look, I get it. If I'm Alabama State, I wanna get the upset, right? We don't plan on giving it to you, but I mean I understand what you want. But I think all of that helps the city of Jackson
Yeah.
and surrounding areas.
Yeah, coming out of COVID, now you have fans back in the stands. That means you have restaurants, hotels, grocery stores, merchandising, you name it, making. Well, we know the beauty supply store made a lot of money this week.
Oh, they made a lot of money. But let me tell you something. I'm not gonna even name the name of the hotel chain, but
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. We did a little deep dive on that early this morning, and
that can't be right.
I think what happened is the third party sites bought up a lot of rooms, and then they rose. They took the rate sky high.
Okay. I was like, that just can't be right.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. I mean, they making money because they enjoying some hefty rates. I know because I'm paying them. So, yeah. Uh, but it's reasonable for homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, um, I think as we look at it holistically, it's an exciting time, not only to just be a Jacksonian, but it's an exciting time to be a HBCU alumni, a HBCU student across the nation. That momentum is HBCU wide right now.
Yeah. Do you remember when I was talking to Kennedy about the need for a HBCU or SWAC television network?
Yeah, I do.
In the social media age, if you have that TV exposure, you're reaching into people's homes.
Right.
And it's not just in Jackson. ESPN Plus is nationwide, worldwide.
Right. And I think this is the ultimate time now, really, that the SWAC, in my opinion, really needs to look at their own network. They have the SWAC digital network. Why not expand the footprint? Because the thing is, people want to see the games, and every week there's some games that are not broadcast that are really good games. I'll give you a point. The upset of Valley over Bethune-Cookman last week. A lot of people would have loved to see that upset.
I think
Valley, North Carolina Central. Who saw that coming? So Texas Southern, there wasn't broadcast. So I think there are opportunities there that there's no better time than now to capitalize on.
I agree. I agree. I think to a certain extent, this is a challenge to all the HBCUs out there because if you look at the attendance numbers, um, not many schools match us in attendance. Never have.
Well,
And
I
it's
mean, I don't know of any. If you look at the stats and the facts, we've been leading FCS attendance for over 43 years.
right. So if you want more views, you still got to put bodies in the seats. You can't just everybody can't watch from home.
Right. Well, I think you're gonna have no problem putting bodies in the seats, but I think for the people that are not or can't get here to be able to watch, I know for me that's been refreshing this season because this will be the first game that I can actually attend. But to be able to watch every game so far and be able to see the game, that's been phenomenal for me.
Yeah, I mean, and then you think about here's where that intersection of change comes in. You think about this. Now, we were always looped into what was happening in the athletic world at Jackson State. But think about the access that you have now to knowing about the program when you have the pregame show with Neely and Bishop.
Right.
You have basically alumni that are professional in their delivery, giving you access to players and coaches. So you get to see the thinking, the strategy to build out of this program, which creates more buzz. So shout out to them for the work that they're doing.
Oh, no doubt about it. And look, when that was a time I used to have to watch the local network news and hope to see something about Jackson State. I don't even go to network news no more. I can't tell you last time I watched it. Why? Because I get all the information and a lot more information from Neely and Bishop over at the pregame show and what they deliver and others that are delivering specifically SWAC information. It's incredible. And then the
Yeah.
insight they have to be vetted with the program to give you the inside thoughts of players, coaches. I mean, that's phenomenal, man. That's that to be honest with you, that is top level excellence right there. We just need to put it on the platform and showcase.
Oh, no doubt. But I'll take it a step further because Bishop is a part of a group with the professor, and
Yep,
they cover all of HBCU football.
exactly. The HBCU sports lab, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
With
And
Dr.
so you
Cavill, Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. Yeah.
yeah, so you're getting analytics, you're getting uh professional breakdowns of all the HBCUs. So these are things that you didn't have in the past. I take it a step further. Last night I watched Crucial Conflict. Have you ever heard of that show?
Yes.
That's uh that's a band show
Yep.
out of New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah. I
so
know. Right.
and so they're talking about, you know, HBCU band culture, what it takes to build a winning program.
I mean, listen, it's gotten to the point where even the professor, for those who don't know, I'm talking about Dr. Kenyatta Cavill of the HBCU Sports Lab. You can find it on YouTube or the Black College Sports Network. But they even get a band grade
Yeah.
each week. And let me tell you, Sonic Boom of the South is they just ripping things up.
There is an expectation of excellence that has always been there.
Yeah.
And celebrating the 50th anniversary this weekend, tomorrow.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so there will be a lot of boomers already here.
What about this, Charles? And then we're going to switch gears a little bit. But when you think about before now, I can't tell you a time where any coach before Coach Prime got here was literally marketing and really put together. I mean, excellent social media marketing the program, marketing what they were doing. We docu series, all these things. And now I'm seeing other schools are doing so now, which is great to market their programs, to market their players, and really put a spotlight on them, which allows you to get a lot more information on kids. These are things we could have all done before, but he gave us the pathway and said, "Hey, do this. This is something you can do too. Please do this for your kids, your youth, your athletes, because the more exposure, the better it is for them, and that's what we want to do." But I have you ever seen a time where, and to be honest with you, I hadn't even seen it in the SEC culture
Well, that's a
at the
different
level
time.
that he's doing it.
That's a different time, and that's not really a fair comparison because the SEC as a brand without any team
Right,
has the SEC network that's on 24 hours a day.
right,
So they have sponsors 24 hours a day.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So he's
Yep.
he's doing what you're talking about and describing as guerrilla marketing. And
Right,
so
and I'm just saying though, have you seen other
no,
schools?
because nobody has taken that approach. But then who has a big enough personality to pull all those things together and put a good product on the field?
There's a couple. There's a couple.
Not many.
No, not many.
Not many.
But put some out there. I mean, there's some great stories going on with athletes that we just don't know that are great stories fans would love to hear.
Yeah.
I think the universities need to market the athlete. I just think
Yeah.
it can't hurt your program. It only helps. Um,
In this
you
day and
know,
age, you think about on one hand, you've got Jackson State who is about to hit a turbo cycle uh, in enthusiasm and fundraising and engagement. And then you look at Bethune-Cookman, crab in the swag, but severely hampered by financial restraints. That losing streak that they're on can be tied directly back to their coaches being on furlough for 8 months.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
a
Let's
chaotic
talk.
situation.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. Not on and look, I'm glad you brought that up because a ton of people don't even know that. They don't even know. And get this, there's a lot of people that don't understand that Bethune Cookman is a private school.
Yeah.
They're not publicly funded. So they're a private school. They have to raise their entire budget. So totally different beast. So the fact that they can even be competitive is amazing, particularly with the accreditation issues they had to overcome and the financial struggles they had to overcome, caused in fact by the pandemic. And everybody knows if you're where you got to get out and raise it, and something like the pandemic happens, it's gonna cut your fundraising quickly
Yeah.
because
I
everybody
mean,
conserves their resources because of the uncertainty.
yeah, and then you add on top of that missing resources that the audit
Right,
produced.
right,
Uh, that's a recipe for disaster, especially in sports when coaches can't spend time with their players. Players can only do so much as far as development without a roadmap. And if they're on furlough for 8 months in football, this is kind of what you get because Bethune Cookman prior to um, the pandemic was a perennial powerhouse program.
and get this though, even though with all that, they're still competitive.
Yeah.
They're still competitive. They've lost some close games, but don't think you can just walk over them.
Well, they lost all of them so far, but hey,
They lost them, but they were in them. They were in them, and
yeah. Only thing
So
about that is you don't get moral victories. Ask FAMU.
no, you don't. You don't. You don't get more victories. But I think is I'm glad you brought up the other part of that story so people can understand it. Because most people, all they know, they think Bethune Cookman is just like everybody else, and they're not.
Yeah,
So
and then I mean, you know, here's something that people in the know, but every school has their premier programs, and within HBCUs, you have different schools with premier programs. FAM has got some, Jackson State has got some. Look at Alcorn. Look at the nursing program. Look at what they do nationwide.
yep.
I mean, there are stories, like you said, to be told in academics. There are stories to be told just in the human impact, human interest, and then the athletic successes, the building, the failures, um, that road to success. So that's where a network would come in handy to tell that story, because that's what the SEC network does.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so I think it's something. Hopefully, Dr. McClellan is something that's already on the table, something you guys are already working on and developing. But we need to tell those stories because I think as we tell those stories and tell our rich history, then it only opens up the door for more people to hear about us and want to join us in our efforts. I truly believe that Jackson State will be building a new stadium in the near future. I think it's going to be an amazing stadium, one of a kind, the best in the conference that they've seen to date.
Did you see the drawings that I just sent you of the phase 2 of the practice facility?
No, you just sent me something.
Yeah.
No, I did not see that. Let me take a quick look
While
when
you're
you talk
looking,
about
while
it.
you're looking for that, think about this. Try this on for size. The SWAC television network is kind of building itself, because you have marching band culture, you've got superior sports on the ladies side, and then you've got the crown jewel of football. And in between all of that, you have all of these homegrown networks where you can bring some of them in as TV personalities and make it fun and exciting and entertaining.
Ooh.
Embrace the technology age. Yeah, so that's where we're headed. Don't just look at it for yourself. Share it with the people.
You didn't send it where I could share it with the people. Uh, wow, this is
State of the art. And get this, phase 1 is already done. The outdoor field has been done.
yeah, man, this is crazy. This is woo.
But that's raising expectations, raising the bar, and raising money. Alumni got to kick in money. You know, I've been harping on that for years and years and years.
And rightfully so. We cannot expect somebody else to do everything.
No,
It's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. And well deserved. And I think I don't know if you heard on this side before we switch gears is that Jackson State has confirmed over 200 recruits will be at the game
yeah, they
tomorrow.
capped it. They capped it at 200 on unofficial visits.
Good. Do you understand the magnitude of that and what that's saying?
Yeah, but I mean, think about what that says for all of HBCU.
I know. That's what I'm
Because
saying. Do you understand what I mean? The analytics on that.
oh yeah, but then think about what it does for um, other universities that will benefit from that, because we can't take 200 new
We
football
can't sign
players.
them all.
And so that means this opens the door for them to get recruited hard by other member institutions.
It just goes back to the point I think when Coach Sanders had the camp and invited all the schools
Yes.
to see that. That's the start of that. Everybody is able to recruit. We want these kids at a HBC and HBCU, and there are many to choose from. Like I say, there's no one school that can sign everybody.
No.
So it's gonna lift everybody up. But what it puts the responsibility and the expectation on all coaching staffs, you now got to get off your butt and go get them because
Well,
they're
we've
there.
shown we've shown what can be done with ingenuity and the marketing that you're talking about. I mean, because we had the number 55 ranked recruiting class in all of football.
On a $15,000 recruiting budget. I'm
Right.
sorry, 15.7,
Yeah.
15,700.
Yeah. I mean, and when I see that number, I'm thinking about past interaction with recruits, big institutions spend that much on mailers.
Yes. I mean, look, the school that was right ahead of us or right behind us, I can't think if Kansas State was the one ahead of us, one behind us. Their recruiting budget is $1.4 million.
Right.
Their football budget is $22 million. So we've got to do our part in giving back. We got to do more. And I want to say this to alumni: it's not always about writing a big check. It's just being about consistently giving. If you can give 10 or 15 or 20 and just set it up to alumni and give it a year, just give. It's that consistent giving. If we all did a little bit, we could accomplish a lot.
Yeah.
But sometimes we sit back and we wait for somebody else to do it. So they'll do it. They got more money. It's not about that.
Well, that's not what it says. Everybody's walking around saying "Thee I love," not remembering that it says "Thee I love, my dear old college home."
Right. Right. And if you truly love something, then you're willing to invest in something.
Yeah.
At least that's what I believe.
Yeah, it's a
I believe
lifelong
that.
investment. It's a
I
lifelong
believe
investment.
right. I believe that and take that to the bank. Man, you got me looking at these pictures. Ooh, these are some beautiful pictures. And that's phase two, and that's they're raising money for phase two right now. Is that already funded?
I think it's partially funded, and they're raising money right now for the locker room initiative to get new lockers to redo the locker room. I think basketball may already have their locker rooms redone because the AAC got a facelift.
Right. Yeah, they did theirs in the in that project. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you think about that, we are going to go from a field that was basically too muddy if it missed it to now we have our own outdoor practice facility, about to add a phase two onto that with the covered outdoor facility with seating, um, and then revamping the locker rooms, and then on to the stadium.
Yeah. Plain and simple. So switching gears, Charles, let's talk a little bit about the race to prevent the government shutdown.
Why? Why do we need to talk about that? It's homecoming. Why? I mean, on one hand, yes, we do need to talk about it, but on the other hand, it's we're going into midterm elections, so this happens all the time around election time.
That's true. It's not new.
No,
Happens every time.
it's it's not new.
But I
Um,
think, but I think next week we after we take care of Alabama State, I think we need to come back and really put some energy around midterm elections because it's very critical, and this is where we typically drop the ball. And I want to make sure that we understand why it's important and why it's always important that we participate in midterm election. And I say that, and I'll transition back to homecoming. No sense of getting off a great topic, but when we think about midterm, it's midterm of the season right about now, and there's some crucial things before us. There's some crucial things as fans, but I want to talk about the economic impact of Jackson. So as we look at it right now, Jackson State has only played one home game. This will be the second. There's several more to come.
yeah, yeah,
They were all back heavy. So when I think about it, they got one road trip left, and that's the Southern.
yes,
So great scheduling, because when I look at that, I say, wow, that's a great way to be set up to finish out the stretch real strong in the East. Because everybody else now has to come to you.
that's right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, we have a favorable schedule. There's no doubt about it. Now, that means we have to be focused and take care of our business on the field, but from an
Right.
economic standpoint, it's an infusion into the city of Jackson because instead of woe is me and we're hoping that we're going to win, there's an expectation of success. And so that expectation of success cascades into dollars because people want to see and be a part of it.
True. So what else on your mind, Professor? We have covered the homecoming week activities up to this point. And I will say this for any friends and classmates watching me, I did not come on the yard today. So you're gonna have to find me at the game. But much love. Hope everybody got
I
here
will
safe.
tell you that it was so many people on the yard today that they probably don't know if you were there or not.
I think you said it was the most more people than you'd ever seen on the yard in a long time.
Yeah, I mean it's wall to wall.
Wow. That's awesome. Good stuff. So what are your thoughts, Charles? I let you close us out a little earlier on this Friday so you too can enjoy your homecoming. I still got some work to do in the office, so I'm gonna be here a minute. But tell me, tell me about close us out with your thoughts as you wrap up homecoming week and then headed into the weekend.
I'm very happy for the students that are on campus now. I'm happy for the alumni who are coming back. So that those two crucial components of university life get a chance to intersect because they really need to get the full college experience. And so homecoming is one of those special times of year on all campuses, but especially on any HBCU campus. Homecoming is a special, special time because that's the link to previous generations to the future. And so they need a chance to experience that. Um, and it's different here. It's different. So they needed to have that experience because that'll shape the rest of the way they walk through life because the swagger of a Jacksonian is I know it's nerve wracking for other institutions. Just like with FAM and Southern, we all have our signature swag. And that comes from that interaction and knowing that lineage and having that energy passed from generation to generation to generation and an expectation of excellence. And so that's my biggest thing. I want them to be safe. I want everybody to be safe, but especially in the age of COVID. But for these young students who are first time exposed to it, enjoy yourself responsibly. Go to the game, support your team, and meet new, network new, expand. Because if you can't do it in a crowd that big, then chances are you won't do it.
Well, there it is, man. Look, I'll see you in a little bit. We'll figure out dinner tonight, but we're gonna go enjoy this homecoming too. And so be safe, everybody. If I see you out, holla at me, but be safe. Wear those doggone masks, please, and have a good time. And then
All right.
I'll see you next week as we hope to be talking about a great homecoming victory and as we look forward to the next one. Until next Friday, Urban Law family, we'll see you next week. Hey, wait a minute. One more thing, Charles. There is one more thing before we go. One more thing. Uh, what's your expectation of the game tomorrow? I forgot to ask. What's your expectation?
Well, I look at it like this. It must be the money. There
Oh,
is there is a debt to be paid by Alabama State for putting Coach Prime's picture up on the jumbotron. So if you have any roadmap from last week, when you talk trash, the bill is huge. That's my expectation.
well, here's mine. Last year, Dr. Hill Illy made this statement. Go back to Jackson and soak in some Epsom salt
That's right.
and send me my shoe back. And the statement was before that he gonna put his shoe in our rear end. He said we're gonna need some Epsom salt to get it out and send him his shoe back. So when my expectation is that we send him his shoe back and give him another shoe that he can keep. So that's my expectation. Until next time, be safe, family.